Welcome in, everybody. I'm Joey, and today I'm turning in to your grandmother. We're taking Granny's car out today. This is the Volvo 850, stuffed full of 326 horsepower because Granny likes her horsepower, and she also loves space in the back for the grandchildren. There's plenty of that. It's primed to destroy these young whippersnappers and their Miatas and BRZs. Alright, so we're jumping into the open B-Class races. First off at Silverstone, and this race, it looked really good. I qualified first somehow, super surprising, and then I held it for the rest of the race until the last couple of corners, where I got quite a bit of oversteer coming through the final chicane here, losing the back end. And then out of nowhere, Mr. Walmart Wi-Fi over here decides to push me wide on the final corner and steal first place away from an elderly woman. I'd argue that's worse than stealing her purse. And I think this S2000 saw it happen because he backed off and let me finish. So at least there's hope for humanity. We found someone that's not a douchebag on Forza. Yay. Being 103 years old and driving a station wagon, I'm clearly very wise and will not let that get to my head. The fact that some guy playing in the back of Walmart just rammed me on the final turn. But turn one here at VIR is always going to test my patience. This is not what you want to see. Yeah, so somehow this guy in the Subaru back there somehow just like didn't manage to see the Volvo taking up half the track, and there I tried to rejoin. That didn't work out well. Here's the Subaru coming back for more. Clearly does not want me to be on the track either. And here's another Subaru just really struggling to get back on the track, and down the hill there's just no hope for him. He's spinning out. Yeah, he's lucky there's no barriers there anymore like back in Forza 7. Now we're back alongside the original STI hatchback that was causing chaos earlier, and chaos is following this guy. We nearly went 5 wide coming through there. Not something I would recommend doing. Coming through the right-hander here, there was just no place for me to go. I was trying to back out of that move up the inside, but the Corvette from behind me was too close for me to go anywhere. But we got a bunch of positions out of it, more people going off into the grass. And we've got a couple more up here just in front of the Lotus. These two guys enjoying a little bit of an argument, driving each other off the track. Lots of that here at VIR. Lots of that, and there's plenty of off-the-track area to go and wrestle in. Getting that move on the Lotus done there. Imagine that, a Volvo going up the inside of a Lotus. Oh, he missed the turn a little bit.
This is the captain. Brace for impact.
Granny looking smooth on the brakes, though, to get by that Mitsubishi Eclipse. The grandkids in the back. Definitely getting a wild ride this time around. And now we're going to have a nice little battle with the BMW here. Making a little contact through the carousel or hairpin. Foot down, using all some 320 horsepower to stay alongside this BMW here. Down into the dip, over the crest, and down the hill we go. That Corvette still very close behind us, so we've got a three-way battle here. Doing my best to not make a mistake here, but then again, the car is about 3,000 feet wide, so even if I do make a mistake, I can still defend pretty well. Getting a little too aggressive there through the corner, making more contact with the BMW, but nothing too bad. If we're going off the standards of turn one, then I basically didn't even touch the guy there. Through the left-hander, taking as much of that curve as I possibly can to carry as much speed through the corner as I possibly can. Up the hill to Oak Tree Corner and around the right-hander to round out lap 4. And we're right alongside the BMW again, and it looks like we've got 5th place in the bag. So for a whole lap, we were battling with that guy and finally get the move done. It looks like we're going to lose 5th place, though. Corvette coming flying by. There's no defending that. And he brakes on time, so that'll be his position. Later on, though, he caught up to the group ahead. We got a couple of Lotuses, looks like. Lotuses? I think it's Loti. And so that slowed the Corvette down quite a bit. And now I've got a chance at, what, 5th, 4th, 3rd? Is there a chance at 3rd place here? We've got a chance at a podium. Only a couple corners to go, though. The Corvette got right ahead of the Lotus, and I kind of just chucked up a Hail Mary there. I had no business going for that move, and I realized it a bit too late. Couldn't back out, made a bit of contact, and so that's where we're going to finish. 6th place. The guys up ahead, though, duking it out across the line. Couldn't keep their hands off of each other. So with penalties, it looks like we've got 4th place. So the Corvette dropped back, and so did one of the Lotus. Next up, Laguna Seca. And clearly Granny was having a little trouble seeing out the front windshield because we're starting in 20th. She she couldn't see which way the track was going because this is the short variation here where we're extending off to the right to take this little shortcut. Oh, looks like we got a Mercedes spinning out. Must be drunk driving. Not a great influence on the grandkids. And around the left-hand kink, everyone's kicking up some sand. Can't see a fucking thing out here. Sponsorship boards are flying everywhere. I'm looking for brake lights. Couldn't really see much. And now we've got like 3. Oh my god, they're just like appearing out of nowhere on the right side. I think we had like 4 or 5 guys kicking up sand. Up the hill we go. Plenty of power to get us there. Having a look up the inside of the BMW. Wasn't quite there. New Nissan Z on our right side. And here's a fishtailing Mazda, who I told you we were going to murder some Miatas. So I think he was going to spin anyways, but we helped him around for sure. And Granny's just sick of all these teenagers driving their little compact cars. He needed to die. That's it for an action-packed lap 1, and then this guy added some more action to the scene while he ate some tyros, got himself a very hearty breakfast, and we got a couple positions out of it. Here's that BMW from before, caught back up to him. Looks like he went off track, lost a bit of speed coming up the hill. Volvo's going to take full advantage of that, and we're going to come through the corkscrew, taking that pretty nicely, running a couple tires over the curb. Down the hill we go. And we'll try to catch up to this Pontiac ahead. To my surprise, this Volvo is pretty damn good. It's not fucking bad at all. It looks massive, but it handles decently somehow. Most likely due to the weight reduction and the upgrading. And as crazy as it is to say, it actually feels pretty balanced. On top of that too, it's safe for the kids, it's a Volvo. And it can sure as hell pass a Trans Am, as evidence here, even though he ran off the track. We are still going to get that overtake done, and that'll be where the race ends. The guys up front were just way too far ahead, couldn't quite catch them. A couple of Nissans up there and an Acura, so no Miatas, no BRZs, surprisingly on the podium that time around, but I bet those Nissans are pretty quick. Well, there are probably no Miatas because we murdered one of them, and everybody else in them knew to stay away from this guy. But we've got to talk Suzuka now, and somehow this thing has made it to qualify in 2nd, and now gotten up into 1st because the acceleration is pretty darn good on this thing. The Volvo's nuts. Suzuka Short is a very handling-oriented track as we just receive a little bit of a tap and we're trying to maintain some sort of traction here. And the Miata on our right side gets ahead, but Suzuka very handling-oriented, and somehow this Volvo is keeping up with these guys. It is a testament to the car. And I'm not going to lie, after driving this thing for a bit, I kind of want to buy one. Unfortunately, they're from like 97, I think is the year on this. So it's probably not possible, probably not a whole lot on the road anymore. What is possible, though, is putting this thing in 1st place at Suzuka. This car is amazing. And we're doing Granny proud, beating out a couple of Mazdas to do so. Alright, now we're switching it up to what is pretty much the Volvo's polar opposite. It's the Ford Lotus Cortina. This thing was apparently just made over in the UK, so we didn't get it here in the US, and it doesn't have the handling that you would expect out of a Lotus, even though they did partner with Ford on making this thing somehow. But that poorly executed chicane was not due to the handling whatsoever, it was due to pure driver mediocrity. And here on lap 2, that's going to invite the M3 right up onto me with F1 Spinelli close behind. Coming down the hill, I'm going to try to get that position back, making the move up the inside, getting it done. I would imagine he's making a cutback, and taking a look behind, he is right there, and we've also got a Mercedes too, so I've somehow maneuvered the Ford into a German battle and losing a couple positions down the straight, but I'm going to make it 3 wide coming through Big Bend. The Mercedes dropping out, the BMW and I still alongside, and the BMW taking its rightful place up front. Through the S's here and up into the chicane is where I really need the Lotus side of this Ford to come out. Not so much the Ford side. The straight line speed we can save for the straight. I really need to see some Lotus. I mean, this thing weighs about half as much as that Volvo. It's about 1,800 pounds and 273 horsepower, so it's got quite the ratio. at least compared to the station wagon. On no name straight now, around the right-hander, coming up on downhill, the BMW going for the move up the inside, so rolls reversed from the last lap. We come together for a love tap, nothing too serious though, we're gonna stay friends. The Mercedes clearly not happy about that, getting a tap from behind from him. And then the time gaps are switching a little bit. We've got a new guy in third place. And he's going to come up our right side here in the Miura, nearly going 3 wide again, almost making it 4. This is pretty awesome. It's not every day you get a 4-way battle for first place, so I'm relishing the moment. And that said, 5th place looked pretty close behind as well, under a second. Doing my best to hang the Cortina around the outside of the Mercedes, getting it done onto the right-hander and out of the S's. Pedal to the metal until we get to the braking zone for the chicane. I really don't have a brake marker for this one. I just look for that lamp post over on the left side and brake like half a second after it. And right there, the Miura kind of caught me out. I was a little thrown off by how early he was braking. Hopefully this time around on lap 6 we'll be a little more synced up, and it looks like we are. First place is running away with it though, and I'm surrounded by guys with penalties. Not the greatest place to be, so I want to get around this Lambo as quickly as we possibly can, trying to throw it around the outside. Hanging the Ford, it's sticking around. The little Cortina can hang, showing its roots. The Lotus side, there we go, that's what I needed. Now, if past laps have been any indication, we're probably going to be side by side with the Lambo going into the right-hander around Big Bend. And there he is, poking his nose up the inside again, trying to once again go around the outside. He'll be solidly in front though. He's a bit off his line, so looking for the cutback. He's got too much acceleration, unfortunately, so we're not going to get that move done. And then we're trying around the outside, going around the outside of these guys quite a bit here in the Lotus, so maybe I should have sold the handling short. For the class, it's nothing incredible. I believe it's like a 3.6 on the scale. It seems like the better cars in the class are around 4 to 4.5. But the tune's keeping me in it, so I can't complain. And if you guys do want to download the tunes, both the Volvo and the Cortina tunes are public, so feel free to search up my gamertag and download those if you guys want to. They're pretty ridiculous cars, but they are fun to drive. They're nuts, but fun. That'll do it for lap 7, and we're on to the final lap, lap 8. I imagine the frame on this thing is probably about ready to fall out. And even more so now, with the Miura braking, you know, we'll say it a couple centimeters too early, and the Merc obviously caught out as well as he taps me, and then I end up going wide, and he thought that was his fault, because he obviously backed off, and he let me through, but it wasn't his fault. If it was anybody's fault, it was mine for not braking when I saw the Miura start to brake, even though he did do it a couple centimeters too early. But through the final turn, I got complacent. I thought I had the 3rd place in the bag, but it turns out there's a Lotus right behind me. I swerved to the middle of the track, not thinking anyone was right there, and across the line, it looked like I was stuck in 4th, but that guy had a penalty somehow. Thank Jesus, because I thought I just gave it away. Luckily, the Forza gods were looking out for me, and we'll move on to the final race in the video, and this was an interesting one. You can see I forgot to switch to medium tires. I had the soft tires on for qualifying, and I've only got 4 laps of fuel for a 6-lap race. So you could say I'm screwed in a bit of a conundrum, but we'll make a game out of it. We'll see what kind of place we can finish in if we have to pit. And here I am in the pits on lap 4. I didn't build up a big enough gap, or at least as big as I thought I would. It was only about a 1.5 seconds to second place. It was in an S2000 and driving the hell out of that thing on medium tires. So props to him for not letting me get away. Although it's not difficult, I sometimes suck. Actually, if you've seen the other videos, you know it's a lot of times, but not too many total screw-ups this video, so I'm feeling pretty good. And this new batch of soft tires feeling pretty darn good too, getting around the GTR, making it look like a slow poke, this Cortina is. That's 6th place as we round out the 5th lap, and then we'll skip to the 6th lap going uphill into the corkscrew. Got a BMW up front. I'll try to overtake this guy with the few opportunities that are left. He took the corkscrew a bit better than me, I think. I went a bit deep. And I will truly maximize track width here, going all the way over to the right to cut back left, get as much acceleration and speed up into this right-hander as I possibly can to get right behind the BMW. once again moving over to the right, using all of the curb available on that right side. Coming back to the left, squealing the tires, spinning them alongside the BMW. It's a sprint to the line. He's come across, spun me like the greedy bastard he is. And not only am I going to lose 5th place, but I'm trying to get to the line, and I lose 6th place too, just at the end there. So it's a 7th place. So a couple life lessons for you guys this episode. 1, don't forget to change your tires and your fuel after qualifying, and drive cars your grandma likes in Forza, because it's fun. Kind of. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do all the stuff the YouTubers tell you to do at the ends of videos, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, and of course, I sent that guy a message.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.